Hi, this is Rob. I'm going to show you how to do the exercises that go along with the video lesson, Basic Probability. Are you ready? Let's go. For our first problem, we need to write the probability of flipping heads as a fraction, a decimal, and a percentage. Right? So if you remember, when we flip heads, there's only two possibilities. So the probability of flipping heads is 1/2, and the probability of flipping tails is 1/2. So as a fraction, that's 1/2. As a decimal, it's 0.5, and as a percentage, it's 50%. For problem 2, we're asked what is the probability for rolling a 2 on a standard 6-sided die, right as a fraction, right? So with a die, we have 6 possibilities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're only interested in one of those possibilities. So we put 1 as the numerator and 6 as the denominator. So the fraction is 1/6, and that's the probability of flipping a 2. Not flipping, rolling a 2. Would this event be considered likely or unlikely? Well, remember, if an event is less than 1/2, if the probability of an event is less than 1/2, then it's considered unlikely. And 1/6 is definitely less than 1/2. So it is unlikely. For problem 3, we have a spinner has 10 equally sized sectors. What is the probability of spinning a 5? So we have a spinner. We aren't shown the spinner, but it's pretty easy to figure out the probability because we're told it has 10 equally sized sectors. So that means that the denominator of our fraction will be 10 because there's 10 possibilities, and we want to know the probability of spinning a 5. And you might think that that would make the top number a 5, but the 5 doesn't matter. The number that we're spinning doesn't matter. All that matters is that we're only interested in one of the numbers. And so we put a 1 as the numerator. So 1/10 is the fraction form of the probability of spinning a 5. And in decimal, that's 0.1. And for a percentage, that's 10%. 10%. So we need to place a dot on the probability line to represent that probability. So 1/10 is right here on the probability line, right? Because it goes from 0 to 1, and the way we're showing it, it's divided up into 10 segments. So 1/10 is right there. For problem 4, we're told a bag contains 3 red marbles and 1 blue marble. What is the probability of randomly choosing a red marble? All right, so there's 3 possibilities. There's 3 red marbles, so there's 3 marbles that will give us what we're looking for. So that means that the numerator is going to be 3 in our probability fraction. And the bottom number is going to be the total number of marbles, the total number of possibilities for pulling one out. And there's only 3 red marbles and 1 blue marble. So 3 plus 1 equals 4. So the fraction form of our probability is 3/4, or 3/4. So that in decimal form, we just take 3 and divide it by 4, and we get 0.75. And for the percentage, that is 75%. Now we need to place a dot to represent that probability. So 75, or 3/4, is going to be right over here. So we have 10, I'm counting the percentages here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and then another half to get 75. So our probability is right there. For problem 5, we're told use this spinner to answer the following questions. We have this spinner right here, and there's 8 sectors. So it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 3 of those are colored gray, and 5 of those are colored white. We're told what's the probability of spinning an 8. So just spinning this sector right here, there would be 1 chance out of 8. There's one number that gives us what we're looking for, and 8 total sectors. So 1/8 is the probability. And for 5b, we're asked what's the probability of spinning a 4. And here's a 4 right here. It's just 1 sector. It's not going to be 4/8, it's going to be 1/8. The probability of spinning a 4 or an 8 is exactly the same. And then for 5c, we have what's the probability of spinning a gray sector. And there's 3 of these sectors colored gray, and there's 5 of them colored white. We have 3 is going to be our top number, because that's how many gives what we want. And then we don't put 5 we're not just concerned with how many sectors don't give us what we want. We need to know all of the sectors, the total number of possibilities, and that is 8. So the probability of spinning a gray sector is 3 over 8. Now we have the probability of spinning a white sector. So once again, 8 is going to be our bottom number, and we need to know how many of these gives what we're looking for. And all of these 5 sectors right here are colored white, so the top number is going to be 5. 5 over 8 is the probability of spinning a white sector. For problem 6, we're told to use this bag of 12 marbles to answer these questions. So we have these 12 marbles right here in this bag. And if we count them up, we'll see that we have 1, 2, 3 white marbles, 1, 2, 3, 4 gray marbles, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black marbles. All right. And so now 6a, we're asked, what is the probability of picking a black marble? Well, there's 5 black marbles, so that's going to be the top number in our fraction. And there's 12 total marbles. There's 12 total marbles. We're given that in, that's just some of the information we're given to start, and we could count all of those up individually as well to get 12. So 5 over 12 is the probability of picking black. And for 6b, we have what's the probability of picking gray. Now remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 gray marbles. So 4 is going to be the top number. And then we have 12 total marbles. So 12 is going to be the bottom number. And you might notice that 4 over 12 can be simplified pretty easily. It simplifies to 1 over 3, 1/3. And for 6c, we're asked what's the probability of picking white. So there's 3 white marbles. So that's going to be 3 for our top number. And then there's 12 total marbles still, for 12. And this is another fraction that can be simplified very easily. 3 over 12 simplifies to 1 over 4, 1/4. And for 6d, what's the probability of picking white or gray? So in a situation where we're asked the probability of picking more than one thing, we just add up those 2 things. So we add up the gray marbles and the white marbles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 white or gray marbles. So our top number is going to be 7, and the same number for the total possible marbles to pick out of. 7 over 12 is the probability of picking white or gray.